Hello guys, we are going to talk about a way of planning today called the backward design. The backward design you have probably heard about. It is also called backward planning or backward mapping. It's just where you take your TEKS, which is what you're supposed to teach in each subject at each grade level regardless. You start with your TEKS and decide, okay, this week I want to teach this TEK. And then you work backwards from there. The point of this planning method is to ensure that you are basing your planning on the TEKS. To begin with this backward design planning method, you start with your TEK, like I said. We're going to use from 7th grade science TEKS today just as an example. We're going to use force, number 7, force, motion, and energy. The student knows that there is a relationship among force, motion, and energy, and the student is expected to, and we're just looking at A, contrast situations where work is done with different amounts of force to situations where no work is done, such as moving a box with a ring and without a ring, or standing still. So you've got your TEK. Then you're going to move to your assessment. How are you going to test the student on this TEK to show that they understand, they have gained this knowledge? So you have to pick a way to have the kids demonstrate their knowledge. Many times it's a traditional written test, maybe a 20-question multiple choice to get the basic information out of them. You could also choose to do a project. They might, for example, with our force and motion unit, you could have them create a machine that uses force, motion, and energy and explain their understanding of the difference in our TEK here between, they're going to contrast the situations where work is done with different amounts of force. So you could have them demonstrate that knowledge in some kind of presentation and still have the same assessment. Grade-wise, they would still have an assessment. They would still be explaining, showing you that they understood the concepts. So you go from, you choose your TEK, you create your assignment or your assessment, and then you're ready to create your lessons and activities. Teachers, you know, when you go through your bachelor program, become a great thief. I have one link here. Jersey Shore Area Middle School has a unit. Pull activities from wherever you can. Create your own activities to reinforce, explain these skills, and then reinforce them with the students. Many times you'll find bits of ideas online. Stretch them, turn them into hands-on things. You might find a worksheet and think, well, but this proposed idea here, I could actually take that and create it real world in my classroom and have the kids then be interactive with it rather than it just being a worksheet, and then maybe they can reflect on the activity for one of your checks for understanding. This is the point where you would also look for formative assessments. You can do written quizzes. You can do reflections, as I just mentioned. Exit tickets are great ways. What did you learn today? Jot it down, stick it on a Post-it on the way out the door. I like to keep a checklist of the names of all the kids in my class and then a spot at the top to write down whatever activity we're doing. And I just walk around and kind of put a little quick check mark if they got it, maybe a minus if they didn't get it, or a half if they got part of it, but hey, we need to look at this again for sure. You could do raised hands quizzes, real quick, just to kind of generally assess, did most of them get it? Do we need to do another whole class lesson? Or will spiraling this in and maybe pulling a small group tutorial be enough to reinforce for those, handful that didn't understand? Have them build models, again, with that hands-on to show what they know rather than just telling you. And then the final step with this type of planning is for the team then, teachers who are building this lesson of study, to decide and kind of reflect on what they've chosen, the activities, the unit that they've built out. Is this going to teach the kiddos what they need to know? Does it really meet the intentions of the TEAC? Does it meet the requirements that we need to be held accountable for? Does it have that desired outcome? This is a link to an article that I read. There are many articles online if you need more information about backwards design. Get in there and read and study. There are lots of examples that you can also use to kind of scaffold yourself through the process.